Hello everyone, this is Kherighan, and this is my playthrough of Full Throttle, a LucasArts game from the 1990s. I've chosen this retro game because, one, I think it's pretty awesome, and two, I think there's plenty of gamers out there who were either didn't get into gaming when they were younger, or obviously there are a lot of younger gamers out there now who never really got the opportunity to actually experience this game. And it's not like this game is like on the top of everybody's tongue. LucasArts has fallen, by the wayside with the Disney merger, and this is something from my youth that I really enjoyed. I have obviously played this before, but it has been a few years. So while the most of the playthrough should feel pretty smooth, there may be a moment or two where I just completely have forgotten how to get past a certain area and how to figure out a different puzzle, and I'm going to have to actually think about it. But for most intents and purposes, everything should work pretty easily, considering that I've actually played this before. Now, this game is from a genre known as adventure gaming, similar to the games that Telltale Games produces these days, like the Walking Dead game, where you have dialogue choices and solve puzzles. But these games generally focus more on the puzzle element, while the storyline was more linear and the dialogue options were more window dressing. So, like if you played through again, you could choose a different dialogue option, which might end up in a joke or something that you missed the first time. Now, these puzzles were generally quite a bit more frustrating back in the day, but also kind of rewarding too, because when you figured it out, it was actually a challenge. Whereas most of these puzzles today, that they just kind of hand them to you, which I get it. It sometimes it's not fun to be frustrated, but it's also if you want that challenge, it's kind of frustrating. So with that, I am going to go ahead and start this playthrough. I am using the Scum VM program, which allows me to play my old LucasArts games. I actually have quite a few. I've only set up a couple of them to actually play it on here. I may actually play Curse of Monkey Island later, and maybe Day of the Tentacle, but let's go ahead and see how this one goes first. So let's go ahead and start.
Whenever I smell asphalt, I think of marine. That's the last sensation I had before I blacked out. The thick smell of asphalt. And the first thing I saw when I woke up was her face. She said she'd fix my bike. Free. No strings attached. I should have known then that things are never that simple. Yeah, when I think of marine, I think of two things. Asphalt and trouble.
Rip Burger, you're dumber than dirt.
Oh, Mr. Corley, if you'd only listen to my plan, my vision.
I know your plan, Rip Burger. You're waiting for me to die so you can take over my company.
Oh, sir, that's horrible. I am not waiting for you to die.
You know I've never liked you, Rip. But you have business know-how and killer instincts that I respect.
Why, thank you, sir.
But this latest idea of yours, riding up to our shareholders' meeting with a gang of bikers? Who do you think you're fooling?
The shareholders, sir. It's good PR to be seen hobnobbing with real Corley Motors customers.
What do you know about our customers, Adrian? You've never even been on a bike.
Well, you know I'd be on one right now, sir, if it weren't for my destabilizing inner ear condition.
Ah, your ears are fine. It's what's between them that scares me. Now there goes some boys I can ride with. Step on it. Let's find out who they are.
Okay, so now we've been introduced to Mr. Corley and Ripburger. Ripburger, who actually is being voiced by Mark Hamill in this. Obviously, he's this great, talented voice actor. He did the Joker for the Batman series. There's actually quite a few people who actually did voices in this who are actually still pretty active today. Not Roy Conrad, who plays Ben, the main character. He's actually died in 2002. Kath Soucie, who plays the main female protagonist, is currently actually doing voice work for Star Wars Rebels. She actually does a couple characters for that. A lot of people in this. You'll see a few names in the additional voices area, like Danny Delk. Danny Delk actually did a lot of voices for LucasArts games back in the heyday of the 90s. Most recently, he did actually do voice work for Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic MMORPG. So, a lot of these people are actually still working, still, great voice actors that are still working today. Also, Tim Schafer was heavily involved in this game. He was really involved. Back in the days of Tim Schafer, LucasArts adventure games were just, phenomenal. When he left, it just kind of went flat, and personally, I believe is kind of the reason why LucasArts kind of fell the way it did. They just didn't have the talent to, at least in story writing, to pick that back up.
Hey, Ben. You know, Ben, we're broke.
Yeah?
And if some cash doesn't come our way soon, we're in big trouble.
Relax. I have a feeling something's coming our way. Something big.
You better stay out here, Rip. This place is bikers only. All right. Who's the guy that drove over my car?
What could possibly be taking so long?
Maybe old man Corley got himself in trouble.
Yeah, maybe they took the old guy out back and worked him over with a 2x4.
An appealing notion, but improbable. More likely he's boring them to death with some tale of the glory days.
But Malcolm, isn't that illegal?
Not back then, it wasn't.
So who do you ride with these days?
He rides with me. Although I'm sure he'd much rather be riding with your little club.
I told you to wait out in the limo, Ripburger.
I thought you might like some help with your sales pitch, sir.
Sales pitch?
Yes. We have come here today to offer you and your men employment. Mr. Corley requires an escort to the annual Corley Motors shareholders meeting.
Does this look like an escort service to you?
You would be well compensated for your time, of course.
Not interested.
It's fairly obvious that you could use the money.
Listen, I said we're not for rent. The polecats are not goons for hire.
Not even if it were Malcolm Corley's dying wish?
Ripburger? That does it. I'm gonna...
Hold on there, Malcolm. If you don't mind, I'd like to step outside with Mr. Ripburger for a little chat.
Excellent idea. And the doctor says he only has a few months to live.
That's bad news for all of us. He's not just a nice guy. He's also the last motorcycle maker in the country. What happens to Corley Motors if he dies?
Don't worry. I have a plan. And if you come to the shareholders' meeting with us, you'll find out what it is.
No dice, Ripburger. The polecats are not thugs for rent. If you want to buy muscle, you should go find the Rottweilers.
The old man says it's the polecats or nothing.
Then I guess it'll have to be nothing.
And that's your last word?
That's it.
Well, I'd like to make you just one final offer. Bolus, take this coat and go get his motorcycle. We'll have to tie up this little 200-pound loose end. It will need to look like an accident.
That stuffed shirt actually thinks I'll leave him in control of Corley Motors when I go. Boy, is he in for a surprise.
Hey, where's Ben going?
Your colleague has decided to accept our generous offer after all. As a matter of fact, he's gone on ahead to scout out the route.
He did?
Well then, let's roll 'em, boys. Yahoo! Cornell, here we come.
Okay, so we actually now finally have the ability to actually play the game. That was obviously a very long intro. Let's see. Obviously, Ben is in the dumpster. Go ahead. Okay. This game is point and click, which means it is a mouse-based game. In order to interact with the items, I'll have 4 different options. I'll have the fist, which is either use or to hit. The mouth, which is either to like eat, taste, or talk to. The eyes, which obviously are examine.
I've woken up and worse.
And the boot, which is to kick.
Take that.
And eventually I will get a inventory, but that won't be for a while. So it's obviously this red arrow indicates the next place where I get to explore. And we see that they were gracious enough to bring my bike back. So let's go ahead and try and use that.
Some joker took my keys. I don't like that.
So now we have our first puzzle of the game. The bar, the kickstand, is currently closed. I'm going to go ahead and look in the window.
It's empty, but I can see the bartender in there.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try and go in through the door.
Open up.
Now, the first time I actually played this, I didn't even think to use the boot, which is really sad. I mean, I was in my teens, and it just completely slipped my mind. I just kept hitting it with the fist, but eventually I actually did hit it with the boot.
I fixed your door. It was sticky.
Look, I don't want no trouble. Just leave me out of this mess.
Now, there are actually quite a few things I could look at in here. There really isn't anything too humorous in this area. There are areas later in the game where you click on something and it would be pretty cool. But for time purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and talk to the bartender.
Looks like you're out of customers.
Yeah, your gang took off with those well-dressed gentlemen. So what'll it be, Mac?
Now, as I stated before, there are going to be several dialogue options, but none of these actually really affect the story that I'm going to be playing. Not like The Walking Dead, where the choice you made would create a division into the road as far as what ending you'd get. There's only one ending, but it's all about, it's very linear in gameplay, but it does have that replay value where there will be some dialogue options where I believe there are some where if you choose like a different dialogue option, that it will give you it'll give you something that you may not have heard the previous time. Now, I could be wrong. That could be later things that I've played, like Curse of Monkey Island. but I believe this also has that thing. But just I'm going to try and click the dialogue options that are definitely not going to progress the story at first, or at least I hope don't. So obviously I'm looking for my keys. Would be the one that I would ask if I were just trying to straight play through this and not, hear everything. But let's go ahead and go through this a few dialogue options.
Where'd everybody head off to?
What am I, the cruise director? Maybe they're up on the Lido deck.
I think you're in on this whole bum deal.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do about it?
Okay, so obviously the bartender is going to be very cooperative. But I'm going to go ahead and continue to talk to him.
What do you have?
I want to know who knocked me out.
Maybe you just passed out. You should learn to handle your liquor. You want something?
What do you got for a headache?
A little sympathy.
Thanks.
But not much. You want something?
Something smooth.
Only smooth thing in here is my head. And you ain't touching it. You want something?
Okay, so now I've pretty much exhausted all of the...
Right now, all I'm looking for is my gang.
Ever think about finding some worth as an individual? Just a suggestion.
have exhausted all of the dialogue
You want
options.
something?
So I'm going to try this.
I'm looking for my keys.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Now this is a situation where, again, it's kind of one of those things where it's not readily apparent what you need to do.
I've never liked nose rings.
Me neither, but someone dared me.
So really, that dialogue right there was as much as a hint that you would get as what you need to do with this guy, which is actually to coerce him.
You know what might look better on your nose?
What?
The bar. Now don't mess around with me.
All right, all right. I got your keys, but I don't know nothing. They had guns. They told me to stall you as long as possible.
Why?
I don't know. I overheard them say something about an ambush up the road.
What else?
Nothing. Look, man. Here are your keys, all right? Oh, someone did say something about killing you and making it look like an accident.
They didn't do too good of a job there. But why ambush the polecats? I'd better get moving.
Okay, so that is the start here. I'm going to go ahead and leave the bar. Have my keys, so I can definitely now start my bike.
When I'm on the road, I'm indestructible. No one can stop me. But they try.
Now this is actually my least favorite part of the game, is these brawls on the bikes. Not because I think they were really a bad idea, but because of the way it was implemented. The control is actually of moving left to right is based on your mouse, and your bike just kind of floats back and forth. It's really touchy, and I really don't like it. at this point it's going to be pretty easy, but later on it does get frustrating, especially if you don't know the puzzle element of the later battles.
Don't give up now. Hit the spirit. All right. Hey, hey.
Ah, so frustrating. There we go. There we go. Got it.
I'd like to make you just something
Making it look like an accident. Something about killing you and making it look like an accident.
I have a plan.
They had guns.
Malcolm Corley's dying wish.
Something about an ambush up the road.
I have a plan.
Man, this is gruesome. My editor better print these in color. Now I have to get you some help, I suppose. Ah, quit moaning. I know someone around here who can fix anything.
What are you?
I'm a mechanic, and apparently a pretty good doctor as well. My name's Maureen.
My name's Ben. Why did you hit me over the head, Maureen?
You were in an accident. A reporter found you and brought you and your bike here.
My bike? What have you done with my bike?
Brought it back from the dead. Sort of like what I did with you. I need a little help getting it finished, though.
Okay, and with that, I am going to go ahead and end this video here. If you like the game so far, please go ahead and put a like on this video. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I will be putting out much more as I go along. This is my first YouTube video ever, so it's obviously pretty rudimentary. I don't have everything that I want to do yet as far as, you know, graphics and all that, but I am learning. I'm pretty quick with these things, so I'm hoping to do much more with this channel in the future. Thank you for checking me out. If you do like this, go ahead and please let other people know. I really want as many people to see this game as possible, just because I love it so much. So thank you again. I guess I will be seeing you in the future, and have a nice day.